Hello everyone, welcome to me! So I went to, that was weird, went to an OTS today with Dracotail. Of the new Justice Hunters cards, it's the one that I have vibed with the most. I really thought that I would like Yummy a lot. I really thought that I'd get on with Yummy, I'd like Yummy. I like the theme of Yummy, that's cute little guys, it's fun, I like it. But I after testing Yummy, I genuinely think that you really need to have an Omega brain to understand Yummy. I think it's a very tricky thing to understand. Executing the combo and like playing and setting up the board is actually kind of fine. It is the interactions and the playing on the opponent's turn which I find very difficult to understand. I think with practice I could do it. It's just not something that clicked with me straight away, you know? Dracotail clicked with me pretty quickly. I like it quite a lot, and I want to go through the profile because I went through an OTS today and came third. The only person I lost to today was the person who won, but because of tiebreakers, what are you going to do? That's how it goes. That's how it goes. There you are. Yeah, I came third. Not unhappy with that. Would have liked to get my invite again quickly out of the way right after Berlin this year, but there you go. But yeah, let's get to the deck profile and sort of see what the choices are and some of the things that I do that I've noticed that a lot of people don't necessarily do work for me. They work for me. I'm not going to say these are right or wrong. I like these options, So, of course, you have 3 fine mana. This card is ridiculous. I love seeing it in your opening hand as long as you have something to use it with. So, for those of you who don't know, 5 mana, quick effect during the main phase. You can discard it to fuse with monsters from your hand or field to summon a spellcaster or dragon monster from your extra deck. That's nuts. That's really a quick, like a hand trap fusion. That's insane. I don't understand. That's crazy. I love it. But yeah, this card's really good. Obviously, you have to run it 3. Of course, you do. 3 Lucius, 3 Malulu, and 1 Urgula, 1 Pan. Nothing out of the ordinary there. This seems to be the normal setup for Dracotail stuff. Nothing wrong with this. It seems to be fairly standard. I've noticed some people running like multiples of Pan and Urgula. I don't think that's bad. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There is something cool about like top decking one of these and being able to use it like going second or whatnot, or even yeah, going whenever. Nothing wrong with that. I personally think 2's enough, but I understand people. At least one of each, I should say. But I get when people want to use more than that. That makes sense. I understand the logic behind it. Malulu's nice. I like Malulu a lot. It is. When I first started playing this deck, it was my least favourite starter to see. Now I like it a lot more because it feels much safer. Lucius is nice, and it does get you to the best end board that you can get to with this deck, but it's also very fragile because it can lose to, like, you ash it, you imperm it, that can end your turn sometimes, and then you've got nothing to follow up with. Whereas Malulu, you can fusion during your opponent's turn as well, so it has a follow-up aspect to it. So Malulu is safer, Lucius is, I guess, goes off more, the way I'd put it. And 3 cards that I think should be in every Dracotail list. This card is really good. Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous. Not a Dracotail card, obviously. Level 4 spellcaster Tuna. Tuna doesn't come up. The light attribute doesn't come up. There you go. The spellcaster level 4 definitely comes up. So it has some effects that do with like branded stuff, Fallen Valbaz, whatnot. Truthfully, ain't got a clue how that works. I have not looked into branded stuff, never played that deck. Whenever I play against it, all I know is Ash the Fusion, and sometimes people scoop, and that makes me happy. Because otherwise I don't know how to play against it, but I know this card's very good in this deck. Because this card is a bit like Malulu, but you get to the same end board as you get to if you summon Lucius. So it kind of combines the best parts of those 2 cards, and on top of that, it returns to your hand during the end phase if a fusion monster has been sent to the graveyard during your turn, during the turn, I should say. That's really good because you want cards in hand to fuse with. So yeah, I think Cartesia is really good. Now I don't run the King of the Swamp package, and I'll go into that a little bit. I'll have a little drink first because I'm very thirsty. Very thirsty. One moment, please. I just ate. All right. Ooh. So yeah, I think that the King of the Swamp package is nothing wrong with that, and having ease of access to poly can definitely unbrick some bad hands sometimes. However, I don't think I think it's a little bit of a trap for the extra deck slots. I think that some people will play King of the Swamp because you can go, oh, I'll play Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, I'll play Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, I'll put this in, I'll put that. You can go, really fun little options and whatnot, and that's cool. But the issue I have with that is that it really doesn't help you with your card advantage. And what this deck likes to have is hand advantage, you know? You like to have a lot of cards in hand to fuse with and do stuff with, and that's really useful to have. If you fuse off your cards in your hand for a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, you might not get those back real soon. Those are now gone. Unless you summon an Arthalion, you might not get those back real soon. And then even then Dragoon, you discard for the effect as well, so you're losing another card on top of that. So I don't, not that I think it's bad and not that I think it's wrong. If people run that, that's great. I think it's a little bit of a trap, because in my experience playing those sorts of cards, they are the way I describe it is those cards are really big swings. You go for a real big swing, and you could either win then and there if you've just gone, wow, I'm going to get on the board now, which also Tower's like, that's great. Or I've got Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, your board's now cleared, I've got my trap set, cool. It's a really big swing that if you don't win with it there, you lose on a lot of your follow-up. And that is something I struggle with a bit. Less so with Tyrant Dragon, I do think so with Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. It's not even that difficult to out these days, you know, it's not that hard to take care of that card. So I think it's one of those things, you either, with that big swing, you either have to knock out the opponent or you dislocate your shoulder, and then you're just done. So I would rather stick with the more consistent in-engine stuff, apart of, not in-engine, but you know, this thing. The more consistent end boards, the more consistent things in-engine, then go with something like that. But that's just me, that is entirely my own opinion, and that's not, you know, if you guys prefer that, obviously, fantastic, go for it. Hand traps. Running 3 Ash, because of course, this ratio I've grown to really like a lot. From last format, and actually this format as well, I like it a lot. I'm running 2 Ghost Spell and 2 Ghost Ogre. Now, I like these a lot into a lot of different stuff. Ghost Ogre, I have found into this deck can be not that great. The best target I found to Ghost Ogre when playing this deck in a mirror match, which I did 3 of today. 3 of? Yeah, no, 2 of? 2 of, I apologise. The best thing that I have found to Ghost Ogre into Dracotail is if you Ghost Ogre their starter, Lucius, Blazing Cartesia, you Ghost Ogre the Malulu, whatever is the normal summon, Ghost Ogre that when it activates its effect. Sometimes they're dead in the water after that. Sometimes they do not have follow-up, because they might be relying on Lucius. If you add something, if you added 5 mana, if you've only got a hand trap in hand, you needed the Lucius to fuse with. So like, you kind of don't have anything from there. Now, obviously, doesn't work all the time. Doesn't work some, you know, it's one of those things. But with this deck specifically, it's the best thing I found to hand trap. Sorry, hiccups now. Apologies. Ghost Spell's great in this format. Ghost Spell's really cool. Ghost Spell, you can use it against this deck when using the Dracotail trap cards. You can Ghost Spell those to negate them. If you're playing into a K9 engine, then you can Ghost Spell the Lupus from summoning itself, or you can Ghost Ogre it when it tries to. There you go. That's what, you know, these are both against K9 as well in that sense. If you're going against Yummy, these both do well against Yummy. During your turn, worth noting, it's not really something you need to worry about during the opponent's turn, but during your own turn, when you're going second against them, if you Ghost Spell their fusion and then Ghost Ogre their link, that can shut down their entire turn, because they just left with nothing on board. You can do full combo and you can just win at that point. So these I think are really cool in this format, and I like this ratio personally. I don't think either of them are fantastic at 3. I really like using them both at 2. That's just me though. And then 3 for Warlos and 2 Perulia. Again, I do have a 3rd Perulia, but since using this ratio in the Regenesis engine deck that I took to Berlin, I actually really like this ratio. I think this ratio works well. I think it's much less bricky in this deck because you can always use them as fusion material from hand, so it's not that bad. But I do like this ratio. I think the ratio works well, and I don't know, it's, again, just me personally, I quite like the ratio. And 2 Nibiru, because Nibiru is good against Yome, and can be used in other places as well, obviously. It's pretty good. There you go. That is it for the monster count. If I can just get these to, there we go. I might have just broke a sleeve, but I've got replacements. It's cool. It's fine. I've got spares, you know. Now for the spells. Now you might notice 28 monster cards. Actually, weirdly, a little bit of a low count compared to a lot of people that I've seen running this deck. You want a lot of monsters because, again, you can fuse with them all in hand, so it's fine. But onto the spells. 3 Ketsu. This card is ridiculous. I'll talk about these 2 together. And 3 Rahu. Because they do kind of... there's a bit of a yin and yang thing going on, a bit of a 2 sides of the same coin kind of thing going on. So, if you're going first, Ketu is Well, you know what? I'll talk about it from the opponent's perspective. If you're playing against Dracotail and they are going first, you don't want to Ash the Ketu, you want to Ash the Rahu. If you're playing against Dracotail and they're going second, Ash the Ketu. Because they effectively start doing the same thing if your opponent has a monster on the field. So what their effects are, Ketu effect is to add a Dracotail monster from deck to hand, that's very simple, but if your opponent controls a monster, you can then fuse. Rahu is to fuse with a monster or monsters in your hand and also one from your deck. Bit like branded fusion there. However, Rahu fusion locks you. Hence why, basically, they do kind of the same thing. And they can both get ashed. This plays into draw, but that's not around that much in this format. Going second, they do basically the same thing, but this one fusion locks you, and this one doesn't. So, again, you want to ash this one if you have a monster on board, and then they can, you know, if you don't have a monster on board, ash this one instead. Because that's just going to add at that point, this is going to be the big, you know, the branded fusion thing. And one call by, because I have really started to like call by a lot more recently. Talents I like less and less as time goes on. I liked talents a lot at 3. I like being able to consistently go, I've got talents, cool, you know. But seeing it at 1 of, it can actually really come up at inopportune times sometimes. Sometimes it can be absolutely game warping and just take the game for you. This is talents, sorry. And sometimes I'm like, well, all they've done is imperm, and now I just have a dead card in hand. And also I can't play. I know that goes the same with call by as well, but call by I think I like it a lot. I think call by is very good in this format. In general, call by is just a great. I say in this format, it's just a great card, you know. Onto the traps again, slightly higher count than other people. So I'm running 1 flame, 1 horn. These cards are really good. If you don't know what they do, you can Ash and Ghost Spell both of them. This is the thing that this deck feels very fair, because it's not as if there's no counterplay. This returns a face of attack position monster from the field to the hand. Could be either person's one. And this negates a face of spell on the field. They both target though, so if that target is removed, the second part of the effect doesn't go through, which is you can then put a Dracotail card from your graveyard into the bottom of your deck and draw a card. So hence why you can Ash them and Ghost Spell them. So they're both very good, but they're both also susceptible to fairly common hand traps at the moment, but they're very good cards. And the Return of the King, in my opinion, 3 imperm. I think this card is incredible in this format. I wasn't using it against Mitsurugi. If I played against Mitsurugi earlier today, I sided it out for draws, obviously. I think this card is really good in this format. Against Dracotail, you imperm the Arthalion. Sometimes their turn just ends there. Most times it does, to be honest. It's really good to imperm the Arthalion. Insanely good. Especially, like, usually if they're going first, imperm it and they can't get their cards back and it's done. Going second, still solid, quite frankly. Going against Canine, truthfully, I've not really found the one specific target to do that to in Canine. But I like using it into Canine because if you can just slow them down a bit, it can really be meaningful to like, they might not then have anything, and they can't pop off because you've not used a monster effect to hand trap them, at least not yet. So I like it because it doesn't play into Canine effects, and for Yummy, it's good, obviously, for your turn. You can do it into, you can imperm their Link during their turn, stop them from doing anything at that point, or you can wait for your own turn and imperm the Herald instead. So I actually think that imperm is really back and solid again in this format, genuinely. That might be me coping, that might be me just overthinking it a bit there. I loving it. Loving imperm at the moment. I was not in last format, it felt really weak. This format, it feels very strong again. It has some very clear, use it there, end their turn potential, you know? Onto the extra deck, the couple of little choice picks here. There's one that I would change, and others that I think this is overall a very solid extra deck, and one that, not that I would change it, but I'm open to suggestions on it, if that makes sense. I'm not actively thinking, oh, this sucks, what am I going to change it for? But I am open to suggestions on it, and I'll get to in a moment. 1 SP, card solid, you can summon it very easily going first, so it happens quite a lot. We have, of course, 1 Seals. Again, it's part of like the best combo of the deck. It's fantastic. 1 Spirit with Eyes of Blue gets you into Seals, obviously. That's what that's there for. This is the card that I might change and might do something different with, and that's 1 number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. It's not unheard of for you to get to Arthalion on the field in a grinding game, or if you're going second and you've already had one on the field from summoning it on their turn and not be fusion locked. If you can do that, you can summon this. because Arthalion, once it's used its effects, is kind of just done on the field. And if you resummon one from the graveyard, this will stop it from getting banished if you use it as material. So I like this. I like the idea behind it. Didn't use it today at all, but I like the idea behind it. I'm potentially looking for a different rank 8. I do have another rank 8 in here, but this is the one that I'm like, I'm not sure about it. Because it definitely is a going first card, and you don't generally summon 2 Arthalion going first. I don't see why you would do that. I suppose you could. Don't see why you would. So, I like it, iffy changing it, you know. But Dingirsu, loving this card. Again, didn't get a chance to use it today, but I've been doing a lot of tests, a lot of test games online, playing with friends, webcam, playing with friends and whatnot. Love doing that. It's really good fun. I just like playing the game, you know. It's nice to handle the cards and shuffle. Oh, I don't know. I get giddy playing the game. It's a nice little hobby for me. But yeah, it's yeah, Dingirsu's great because again, it's the same sort of thing as if you summon Arthalion during their turn, summon one during your turn, summon Dingirsu. That's more removal. Just get rid of something, and then if it attacks, you can go over it with Zeus. Because of course you can, because it's Zeus and he's really good. There you go. You get removal. 3 material Zeus, which I know 3 mats is not like the optimal Zeus, but it's like a 2 mat Zeus, you know. But yeah, you get the Zeus, and that's solid. Again, didn't go into that at any point today, but it's, you know, it's something I could do. And 1 Typhon, sorry, I got to put in the right order. 1 Typhon as well. Typhon's Typhon. Didn't use it today, but I didn't need to. Sometimes it comes up. It does. I've got it. There you go. Now for the fusion cards. 1 Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. I know that there were some K9 Crystron players there today, did not face any of them. Only small OTS, only 4 rounds. I don't know how many players there were exactly, but only 4 rounds. I want to say 18 players, maybe 16? There weren't any buys, so it was an even number, but I don't know exactly how many there were. There were 4 rounds though. This is, if you don't know how this works against K9 Crystron specifically, the way this card works, it's a contact fusion, so you don't need to activate anything, you just do it. It's an inherent summon. It's a monster in the extra master zone, 1 or more, and a Cyber Dragon monster. Against K9 Crystron, whatever monster they have in the extra master zone, usually SP, and their infinity, you just fuse them off. Inherently. There's nothing to negate here. Even if you solemn it, you're just solemning that it goes to the graveyard, but their cards are still gone. Absolute ball breaker. It's insane. Again, didn't go on today because I didn't face any of those today, but I have been using this a lot, testing it against a friend of mine who does K9 Crystron. It's great. It's one of those things where if you play K9 Crystron, you should be playing around this. You absolutely need to be like thinking about this, understanding it, and thinking, they could have this in their extra deck. I should play around this, because if you don't, your board is just broken at that point. Not entirely. You've got other stuff there, but it's definitely think about this. You know, 1 Mysterio on the Dragon Crown, and 1 Secretary on Dragon, of course, because they're both very good against. Mirror matches against Blue Eyes, and against anything that's like, I guess Vanquish Soul's pretty good against that, very good against Yummy, stuff like this. Malice, very good into that, so, you know, different things, very good cards though. Then 2 Gullamel and 3 Arthalion, nothing to write home about there, fairly standard ratios and whatnot. Arthalion's a fantastic card, Gullamel's a wonderful end board piece, they're just solid, I like them a lot. Now for the extra deck, this is, sorry, the side deck I should say, this is where I'm a little bit more sort of, I'm still really in flux on the side deck. It's kind of difficult at the moment. I haven't really gotten to grips with the format well enough yet to be like, yes, this is the play. I'm still learning the format, still trying to understand it a bit more. But I'm getting there with it, you know, I'm sort of understanding it a bit more and whatnot. So there are some ratios in here. There's some cards that I think are great, but I'd up or down the ratio. And some cards that I'm like, I don't know if I need that. And so maybe that's what I take out to, you know. So side deck is 2 Fenrir. Fenrir is good. I might put the 3rd in. I might include the 3rd. It's decent going. It's really good going first. You side out your Mulch armies for this if there's nothing else you want to put in, or even going second sometimes into Mulch army. Not Mulch army. You know me. It's not bad. It's a pretty good card. 2 Meows. You have to 3 Lancia because we are still in a format with Malice, but also again K9 Crystron's around. Crystron does also hurt against this, does also hurt when you play this. We are going to be getting Orcus soon in the EU because obviously Battles Legend Monster Mayhem is finally going to come out soon. Looking forward to that. So Orcus will be around as well. Maybe not much, but we'll see it. So yeah, Lancia is still very much in the format. 3 Droll. I actually was playing against someone earlier. First round I was playing. First match. And they were main decking Droll. And at first I was like, well, that's a weird pick in this format. Who main decks Droll in this format, you know? And then I Mulch-Armied, he let that resolve. I drew one, and he drolled. And I was like, you can defensive droll, of course you can. And that's made me think, maybe droll actually still has a place in this format. Maybe it's still around, because you can, especially maybe with something like Yummy perhaps, because you summon a lot during that combo. You know, Fawalas can really hurt this deck's full combo. It might be worth playing. It might be worth, if your deck doesn't hurt to droll, which this deck certainly doesn't for the most part, might be worth playing. Might be worth something looking into, and that is something do I maybe take out the Imperm? Do I put in draw defensively? It's just that he doesn't do much during their turn. Don't know. It's something I've thought about. Maybe I leave it in. Maybe I side it in. Yeah, fair point. Maybe I'll just side it in going second, going first. Maybe I'll do that. Anyway, one Dark Ruler no more. Might take this out. I've got it's a thrust target. I don't use it. I simply don't use it. There's not a. It's good into Yummy, I suppose. But so is the right hand trap line up in the hand. If you hold your hand traps for your own turn against Yummy, you can use them then, and then they just kind of struggle. So yeah, I don't know if Dark Ruler no more is going to stay in the deck. Don't love it. We'll see. One Feather Duster, back row deck, sometimes is useful. Two Thrusts, and a D-Barrier, because again, D-Barriers are really good at the moment. You can stop, call your XEs, call your Ritual, call your Fusion, call your whatever, call your Synchro. Very good. And that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've understood some of my picks. I hope you've maybe taken on board some of my reasoning. I have to put this back in the right order. I do apologise. It feels wrong if I don't. But yeah, that is the deck. I'm really enjoying this format at the moment. I was a little bit skeptical about how I would feel about the playing on the opponent's turn format, you know? About the not your turn, our turn format. I was a little bit skeptical. Wasn't completely sure how much I'd like it. But as it turns out, I am really enjoying it. I'm actually having a really good time with it. I think it's really fun. It feels very fresh. It feels new and yet also similar in that way that formats often do when they're a bit new and different. I like the decks in it. I actually enjoy all the games I've had. The lots of decks available at the moment. I actually played against someone today who was on Mitsurugi Raizal, and they did pretty well as far as I'm aware. My matchups today, I should say, were against Dracotail, then against Mitsurugi Raizal, then Dracotail again, and against Yummy. Only person I lost to was Yummy because I didn't realise he was playing Yummy Board Breaker going first. He went first going first in the first game, and I actually had a really good hand. My hand was Lucius, Cartesia, Imperm, Ogre, and Fawalas. That's a solid hand against that deck. He Obedient School, I Fawalas, he Ashed, he Talents, ripped my Lucius. I was thinking, okay, I'll hold these hand traps for my own turn, and then Cartesia, hopefully I'll top deck something good. I top decked a a ghost spell, and he got rid of my Lucius, which was the right call. Getting rid of Lucius there was correct, because I couldn't play. That hand was otherwise great, but I just couldn't play against that. And it was like, well, I guess we'll go game two. Game two, I set up a full board. He drew insane going second. And I don't like blaming losses on that, because I did misplay as well. There was a bout I did absolutely misplay, and I should have won. Maybe not won. I should have kept the game longer at the very least. I could have done differently there. But yeah, I got like full board. Seals, Gulamel, the set 2, and also I think an Imperm, I think I had set, I'm not sure now, past turn, and a real full hand, like a big hand of cards, like stuff to fuse with and do stuff with, so he was looking real good. And he started off with Raigeki. I was like, I don't really want to use Flame on that. I'll tell you what, I will use Seal to bounce Gulamel and then get a Malulu on board. I'll do that. Then he went for Lightning Storm. I thought, well, I can't give up both of my back row. I'll use Flame on the Lightning Storm. Okay, cool, that's fine. Then he went Talents for a hand rip. And I had a really good hand of lots of monsters and stuff like that. And that was it. I think I drew a D-Barrier at some... When did I draw a D-Barrier? When did I draw a D-Barrier? I had a D-Barrier in hand, but... Oh, I drew it off a Flame. Sorry, that's what it was. So I drew D-Barrier Flame. That's a shame. So I had a really good hand full of monsters. So I'm like, I don't particularly want him to rip these from my hand. I don't want him to take my five mana rather. So I did Malulu, Fuse, get an Arthalion. So just to basically protect those cards in my hand, I did a Lucius, a Malulu, a Pan, and a 5 mana for the fusion. Hand ripped. I think he took away another Lucius in my hand, if I'm not mistaken. And then I went chain it one Arthalion, chain it two Malulu, not using the others because I want to reuse their effects. And, I want to get Pan, especially Pan's effects. I want to use that effect in hand. I want to use Malulu's effect when I do that. So I want to get that off when I fuse again with 5 mana. He impermed the Arthalion. Now, here's where I went wrong. I should have, and he pointed this out to me as well after the game. He was like, why didn't you do this? I went, why didn't I do that? That's genius. I didn't even think of that. But what I should have done is Dracotail Horn, bounce my own Arthalion back, dodge the imperm, and get my cards back. All he had after that was a thrust and a cookie. If I just bounced my card, I could have got all my cards back to hand. Would have had a clear board at that point, but I could still use 5 mana and do stuff with that. I would have been able to carry on playing at that point. Would I have won? Maybe not. Maybe not. But I would have been able to keep playing. And that's the main thing. So I did make some mistakes. I did, didn't play perfectly. It's my first tournament with this deck. But I'm very happy with third place, honestly. Tiebreakers, what are you going to do? Was hoping for second, got third. What are you going to do, But had a really good day. Mirror matches were fun. The Misery Horizon matchup was fun because I know that deck very well, but it's interesting playing it from a different perspective now, playing against it from a different perspective was today. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys understand some of my thoughts and processes and whatnot with regards to certain picks and choices and whatnot. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this deck. I'm loving it. This is definitely the deck I'm going to be using in this format. I love it. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. See you all very soon. See you all very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.